Intertalk Radio. You're in to all things music.
I didn't have anything booked that night. I was on the strip the night before. I was doing a corporate at Caesars the night before, but Brother Jace was working on the strip that night.
Right.
All my friends who work on Blue Man Group, they were locked down at the Luxor. One of my good buddies was working sound at Route 91, and he saw everything, and he helped carry people out until the police told him to leave. And it was scary, man. It was the scariest thing that's happened in my life.
Welcome to Jackie's Groove. Come journey with us through the rhythm of the music business with your host, Jackie Bertoni.
Everybody, happy Monday. It is November the 6th, and it's 2017, and it's sunny outside. And you know what's going to even make it brighter is my little brother that's joining us today in the studio on Jackie's Groove. And by the way, this is Jackie Bertoni, brought to you by Intertalk Radio, connection to all things music. Hey, guys, I am so supportive of local talent. I've always have been, because at one time I was local talent, and I had a lot of Jackies helping me up through my career. And, today on Emerging Mondays, this is number 17 in an ongoing series, like successful series. And I'm spotlighting today my brother, an amazing drummer who left the Inland Empire, who left Temecula to greater and bigger pastures called Las Vegas, Nevada. And since he has arrived there, he never looked back, because he's been busy. Up to 6-7 days a week, this man is working on drums. I'm going to let him tell you all about that itself. And we're all going to talk about today Vegas Strong, for everything that the community went through and how they bonded together through this fucking horrible tragedy on October the 1st. So we'll talk more about that. So with that said, guys, I want everybody to welcome with open arms and open ears to Jackie's Groove, Anthony Raya. Anthony, what's happening, my brother?
Hello. What's going on, my brother?
Man, you know what? We were looking forward to this. We were supposed to do this about a month and a half ago, and you asked, if you could postpone it because you had an amazing audition with a group called the Blue Man Group at the Luxor Hotel in Las Vegas.
I did. It was the biggest opportunity for me to date for my career, and it was an amazing experience. I did not end up getting the gig. Unfortunately, I was pretty disappointed, but it was an invaluable learning experience for me. And after I recovered from the massive blow to my ego,
yeah, man,
I think I came out definitely a better person. It kind of exposed some flaws. I think in my whole approach to life in general, but
Anthony, you have to look at situations like your big brother Jackie told you when we talked, right after this happened. I said to you, and I reiterated again by saying, this is a gig. It's not the gig. And the way you're going to have to look at it is you probably kept yourself open for something greater, but not the fact that you only lost this situation, but this is, the Blue Man Group is expanding. Tell the audience exactly what they're and who are they owned by now.
So Blue Man Group was just acquired by Cirque du Soleil this last summer. So they are now under the umbrella of Cirque du Soleil, which means that the show is going to expand a lot. As far as I know, the show itself isn't going to change. Everything that I've been reading in the media and everything that I've been hearing from my friends who work on the show is that they feel that the show stands on its own, and has stood on its own for 20 something years that it's been around.
Right.
And they don't want to change it at all. So it's just, I think there's going to be more shows opening up in different markets that Cirque has access to. They have a world tour that's like constantly on the road. So maybe that will expand. So there's going to be more opportunities. And I mean, since Blue Man has been in Vegas, I know that the people who are on the show currently have a lot of them have auditioned multiple times. So there's going to be more opportunities. There's going to be more opportunities. And I was just, it was just one of those things where like I caught the bug 10 years ago when I auditioned while I was going to MI. I auditioned to be an actual Blue Man. And I had no acting experience, and the actual Blue Man part is more of an acting gig than it is a percussion gig. So, because it's a lot of improv acting and a lot of that kind of stuff. So, and I had zero experience doing any of that at that time. I was like, this starry-eyed 22-year-old who didn't know shit, and they told me take some improv classes and come back to us, and it's actually funny because the casting director who did my audition this time was the same casting director who did my audition last time.
Oh, really?
And yeah. Her name's Sasha or Tasha. I'm sorry, Tasha Van Aken. I don't know, but
right.
Yeah, she was really cool. And when I was sitting there I was playing my part on the percussion rig in front of the senior musical director. His name's Byron. And he was like, "Oh yeah, like Tasha's out there in the theater," because the audition was in the actual theater.
Right.
He's like, "Oh yeah, she's sitting out there in a chair. She's watching." I was like, "Oh my god, like she did my audition 10 years ago." And he's like, "Yeah, she remembers you." I was like, "No way." So
no pressure there.
Yeah, right, exactly. But
Anthony, I'm just looking at some notes right here, guys, because we had a lot of people asking questions and so on about the Emerging Mondays. I want to step back. I want to step back all the way almost to 10 years when Caprice and myself moved from out of the Orange Curtain into the Temecula Valley, the Inland Empire, because we became the minority, if you will, in no lack of anything negative. But in Orange County, we made our pilgrimage out this way. We wanted a nicer area. We wanted a cleaner, we wanted out. So we got out. And so coming out here, kind of getting reacclimated to the industry and getting my studio built and everything else. And a friend of mine said, "Hey, man, you really got to check out this group that's playing locally." Because I was asking about, what kind of talent is out here. And they said, well, there's a lot of musicians out here, but, not a whole bunch of talent. And so over the 10 years, I have weeded out and became great friends with the great talent out here. So I went to this nightclub and to see this band called Master Shredder and the Splinters. And when they told me about this group, I said, you know what?
Master
I'm not
Splinter
really
and the
into...
Strokes.
Yeah, whatever it was. And I just wasn't into that music. I mean, it's not the end of the music, but into that name, thinking that it's going to be hardcore and so on. But my friend of mine said, no, you got to go check them out because these young brothers, man, they are not only amazing musicians, but they play the B-sides of the major hits, and that got my interest. So I went down to this club, and I kind of sat in the back, and there I was absolutely amazed. I mean, breaking out doing songs that are twice the age of these kids that were up on stage playing. And so I got a chance to meet this kid by the name of Anthony Raya. He walked up, introduced himself, and I introduced myself. And he said, he goes, I love the way you play and whatever it was. And I said, you said, what are you doing out here? Or I said, my wife and I live out here. And so we kind of hung out, gave each other a hug. We became real close. And Salvador Spinelli, the lead singer, which I thought was an absolute asshole when I first met him, but only to find out that he was shy, and so on. Yeah. And and Sal knows I always bust his balls that way itself. So I came back the following Saturday at this place, and I got to tell you, that's when I met the whole band. And at that time, Anthony was on the drum throne. Ryan Kilpatrick was on bass, Salvador Spinelli on guitar, and Brendan Kilpatrick on guitar. And I became instant fans, so much so that I got my rig down there, and we packed the house on a regular basis. Right. And I became an instant fan of Anthony. And Anthony, so what? I always told you this, man. It's like going back to the situation with the Blue Man Group. I mean, I walked in the same shoes, man, because I was devastated when I auditioned for Earth, Wind & Fire and didn't get it. And I felt sorry for me, and I heard that little wah, wah, wah in the background. But again, my buddy Ron Powell, percussionist with Kenny G and Diana Ross and such, he said to me, it's a gig, not the gig. Right. And so I've always learned that. And there's going to be many A gigs coming around for you, brother. You're young, man. So you keep doing the jams. I want everybody to get a chance to listen to Anthony. He is, prominent all through Las Vegas. Clubs like Mickey Finn's and Hennessy's. And we'll talk more about that as we go along. But Anthony, when you grew up in this area, and I want you to tell everybody out there who doesn't know Anthony Raya, where were you raised and where did you grow up? Share with us.
So I grew up in Temecula. I was born in Long Beach, and we lived in Bell Gardens, and then we moved to Whittier, and then we moved to Temecula when I was like 4 years old. So I grew up in Temecula. I lived there until after I graduated high school. So, Were
drums your first instrument? Wouldn't you pick up the sticks for the first time, or did you So they were from day one.
I mean, I consider myself to officially have started playing drums at age 5, and that was when I got my first, Toys R Us Junior kit.
Of course.
But from what I hear from my parents is that I was always drumming. There's cassette tapes. I don't know if anybody remembers that archaic technology, but there's there's cassette tapes of me before I even knew how to talk, and I'm hitting pots and pans with spoons, just like blabbering gibberish and making noise, and there's like a little bit of a sense of rhythm there, even at age 2 as a toddler.
Sure, of course.
But it really happened for me when I was like 4 years old, and my dad was watching Queen live at Wembley on TV. And I saw Roger Taylor behind that giant drum kit, and he had his face on his bass drum, and I don't know, something clicked in my brain, and I was like, I want to do that. I want to be what that guy is. And Roger Taylor was my first influence. He was my first favorite drummer. Queen was my first favorite band, and I literally learned how to play drums listening and playing along to News of the World and The Game and Greatest Hits. And I really can't say enough about how huge of an influence Queen had on me. But
and let's talk about influences in the way of parents. I mean, I know and I love Mama Alma, and
Elba.
And I don't know your dad. But with Mama itself, I know I can only speak out of my growing up. My mom never put sticks in my hands, as I've said over and over again, because she didn't want me to mar up the furniture. So she bought me the little quintessential pair of little bongos, the dark and light brown with the thumbtacks on the outside of it. And as they say, the rest is history. But that situation where you kept the sticks in your hand, you played. But growing up in the Raya household, what was coming through the speakers, man? What were you listening to as a toddler? And were you digging it, or were you forced to listen to it?
No. I mean, it was all my dad's music. I mean, my dad's a huge music fan. He's a huge classic rock fan. And so it was Queen. It was Black Sabbath. It was Zeppelin. It was Toto. It was Chicago. I probably was playing along to stuff that you were playing on, believe it or not.
Am I that old? Am I that old, brother?
You are, man. You're like you're like a surrogate father in a way.
Let me jump in for a second.
Pressure.
One day, Anthony and I were sitting outside of this nightclub. We were having a cigar, and we were kicking back. And it was balls cold outside, but we had to go out because you can't smoke inside of a restaurant. And this one girl, adorable, but didn't have all the smarts, and she looked over at Anthony, and she said to me, "Is this your father?" Remember that night? And Anthony looked over at her and goes, "Does he look like my father?" And I'll just never forget that, because the girl, I mean, again, the IQ was not pumping at the time, but I
think we played it off like you were my dad. I was like, yeah, Dad.
We did.
Yeah,
man. Dad. I just laughed my ass off. Cappy actually brought up a little while ago about those days. And growing up with that style of music that you talked about, you had, you just mentioned a huge difference, a cross-section of genre of music that keeps it alive because, you were still young enough. Actually, I don't know how young you were, but when mom and dad and I grew up, growing up in the music business, when we listened to radio wasn't sectioned out. Radio was, you'd be listening to Zeppelin, and then you'd come on, then Engelbert Humperdinck would be on. So there would be a back and forth tennis match of what it was, and so you were kind of, forced to listen to what was on there and then choose what you want. And then through that became all the different situations of stations. But the thing I love, go ahead.
No, my dad had a really eclectic taste in music. Like he would listen to the heavy metal from the 70s, and then he would listen to fucking Enya, so
wow, I'm sorry for that.
He was into a really wide range of shit, but I mean that really that was great as far as developing a palette for me and my ear and what I was able to appreciate, from a very young age. So, I mean, when I first started playing, I know it's real common for drummers, beginner drummers, like they want to just they want to play drum music. They want to play Metallica. They want to play,
sure, of course.
They want to get into the fusion shit. That's all really fast and really exciting drum music. But I mean, I really gained an appreciation for songwriting and, just a more holistic kind of approach to music. And I think that benefited me a lot, when I got older.
Of course it does. Because, for people who don't know Anthony personally, there's things I miss about this young buck. In fact, Anthony coined me years ago as Papa Bear. And that was the situation. That's when you're fucking old, is when the young guys call you Papa Bear. But I would come home. I'm not a drinker at all. So one night, Anthony and I were playing at a local club called Jay Carter's. Great place. Couldn't even move in the place. It was so packed. And Anthony was they transitioned from Master
Splinter, the Shredders.
I keep screwing that up, but again, they moved over to a more palatable name by the group called Midnight Satellites. And when we come back on the second segment, I'm going to talk about that because I go deep with the roots of this group itself. For the fact that doing the last two albums, the one with you and the one that was replaced when you left and going to Vegas, and Nick Sywert, another great drummer. Yeah, but two different type of drummers, and I want to talk more about that. But I also want to get back into the situation here. We don't want to get on a political platform, but I want to find out more what you were feeling and the community and friends around you when this travesty happened on October the 1st. I mean, we all have 6 degrees of separation. You know me, I have so many of my friends there, so I was able to call them to find out everybody was good. But but case in point, right there on stage, my good buddy, I was playing drums. Rich Rippin from Jason Aldean, it was weird to hear it directly from the horse's mouth, so to speak. So when we come back on the second segment of Jackie's Groove, my name is Jackie Bertoni. This is called Intertalk Radio, connect to all things music, and the connection is here with my brother, Anthony Raya. Don't go anywhere, guys. We'll be right back after this short break. You don't want to go anywhere. We're going to pick up and tell some more little anecdotes that nobody knows about. Stay tuned. Don't go anywhere. Anthony, go use the restroom if you have to.
Yeah.
Are you serious about your music? Are you ready to run with the big dogs? The experts at Pitbull Audio have the gear to get you into the game. From leading manufacturers like Mesa Boogie, Fender, Pioneer, and American Audio. To sound your best, you need the best. Pitbull Audio can deliver in rehearsal, on stage, and into the big time. Dropping beats, shredding guitar, or making the crowd roar. Whatever you dream, Pitbull Audio can help make it happen. We are Pitbull Audio. We want you to play it loud. PitbullAudio.com.
You know what's all around you every waking moment of your life? Marketing. You're choking on it. I'm Scott Robertson, and when it comes to strategic PR, branding, and marketing, I've seen it all. And actually, I'm still seeing it because bad marketing never sleeps. Join me each week on May the Best Brand Win, right here on Intertalk Radio, and learn how to make the marketing for your brand unforgettable.
Hi, I'm Tim Dolbear, the host of Sound Experience on Intertalk Radio. Each week, I talk with top professional audio engineers, producers, musicians, and the manufacturers that make the tools that we use in the studio each and every day. From capturing the perfect take to mastering your final release, and the tools and how the pros use them, we are going to dive deep into their process and learn from their experience. I look forward to you joining us each week on Sound Experience with me, your host, Tim Dolbear.
Make this your vinyl night. I'm John J.R. Robinson, and every week, music creation comes alive through stories, experiences, and sounds when vinyl records filled our hearts and minds. My friends and I share our tips and techniques used in creation of iconic tracks for recording artists such as Michael Jackson, Eric Clapton, Quincy Jones, and Steve Winwood, to name a few. Vinyl has emerged hot, and the soul of vinyl defines art and passion which burns deepest at night. Tune in every Wednesday at 2 p.m. Pacific Standard Time on EnterTalkRadio.com.
Todd Zuckerman from the rock band Styx, and you're listening to my pal Jackie Bertoni on Jackie's Groove. Groove on, motherfuckers.
Welcome to Jackie's Groove. Come journey with us through the rhythm of the music business with your host, Jackie Bertoni.
Everybody, welcome back to segment number 2 of Jackie's Groove. My name is Jackie Bertoni, and this network is called Intertalk Radio. Connect to all things music. Hey, man, that song you hear coming in, once again, is provided by the Styx of my in-studio guest, Emerging Monday artist number 17, Mr. Anthony Raya. Anthony, welcome back, my brother. You know, I want to tell the audience out there, I joined these boys on many occasions, but the best time I ever had with them was playing with them at the House of Blues in Los Angeles, up in the Foundation.
Oh, yeah.
You remember that night? And Anthony and I were known, and you can go on YouTube and just put in Jackie Bertoni and Anthony Raya and Mind Transplant, a great, great song composed by the late, great Alphonse Mouzon. In fact, I said on the last few interviews with Sal and Brennan that amazing response from Alphonse complimenting the band.
Yeah, that was crazy.
Doing such a great job. So you got to watch out who's listening out there, guys. I mean, this world of social media is amazing. And so with that said, I want to say, Anthony, I'm really, really proud, man, because not only do you and I become dear friends, family, but the fact of the matter is I got a chance to record with you. And and almost very, very strange, because I really wouldn't look at the situation that, my talents, my percussion would lend itself. But the shit that I did with you guys on the first album, Midnight Satellites, self-entitled, and then on the second album with Nick on the Thrones, I had a blast. But I want to go back to the first album itself. I know there was, I don't want to use the word controversy, but there was a lot of mixed emotions on the album, and songs that made it and songs that didn't make it that should have made it, and songs that made it shouldn't have been on there in the first place. Out of that tune, out of that album, Revelation's always been, that was a song we played on the first set itself. Is there a favorite tune on that album that you look back and smile and love the way you sounded on it?
I think Revelations probably is my favorite song on that.
Why?
On that EP. So all of those songs were totally collaborative. Like we all got a chance to put our input into those songs. And that one in particular, just because of the guitar rhythm that Brendan came up with for the verses was really weird and had this really fucked up timing.
Yeah.
And it kind of like, I got to play a part behind that was like, it's not like a conventional like 2 and 4. It's not like, it's in an odd time signature, and I don't even really know what it is. I don't remember what time signature it was in, but it was cool because it was like, the rhythm was one of those odd time signatures that you don't really have to count. You don't really have to try to define it. You just feel it, Right. And the way that it weaves in and out of that odd time signature and then it goes into 4/4 during the chorus, and then it goes into 6/8 during the bridge, and it's like,
it's not even really it's not really even a true 6/8. It's kind of an anomaly between that. I was trying to figure out what it is because when you mentioned the word 6/8, I would love to be on stage with Anthony playing, and this little fucker could play everything backwards, forward, side, and right and left. But I would love to be in the middle of a song. He and I would be doing a solo together, and I would throw in a montuno. I would throw in a tumbao rhythm, and he would look at me over the cymbals like, dude, what the fuck are you doing to me? And I would say to him on a break, I'm educating you, man. But trust me, this boy educated me on a lot of stuff also. So go back to that song. I wanted just to throw that in there. I have so many notes here.
Yeah, for sure. I like it because it's got a lot of weird time signatures in it, but you don't really notice that they're weird time signatures. You know what I mean? Like they're played in a way that it feels good, and it's musical. It's not just playing weird timing for the sake of playing weird timing, which we did a little bit of that on that EP, a little self-indulgently, but that song,
sure.
When I look back on all the collaborative efforts that I've done over the years, I'm really proud of that one. As far as songwriting goes.
Do you miss the band?
Yeah, in a sense I do.
Right.
We had a lot of fun. We played a lot of really fun shows. We did a lot of really fun shit. Especially playing with you, playing at TK, playing at Carter's, playing at House of Blues. And it was a really great, satisfying, creative experience.
I was bummed. I was bummed when you left the group. I was bummed just because I like the unity of family. And I just never been around 4 guys that were in the same age range itself, but really were just equal in the way of musicianship that just really, really killed it. And, never say old, but when you made the decision to head out to Las Vegas, that was like losing a little brother, even though Caprice and I were always in Vegas and we live for that, man. I mean, we haven't been in a while because, Brother Jackie had back surgery, but, I'm back stronger than ever. And, telling the listeners out there, we get there, first thing we come in, Cappy says, call Anthony's, we're coming into the city limits.
Yeah,
and
we
then,
have
of
lunch.
course, lunch, breakfast, whatever it is, we have a good time to hang out, man. And I can't wait to give you a big hug, and so can Cappy also. Now, stepping back for a second, brother, I want to just ask you a question. And for all those people who have a chance to sit in with Anthony Raya, do yourselves a favor, never request a fucking Journey song, because if you want to see Anthony get pissed off. And that's why every time I would play with him, we would break out for Don't Stop Believing and everything else. And he knew I was the one that requested that. So we all have our do's and don'ts. Now, let me just go back for a second. Now you're back in Las Vegas. Or you're in Las Vegas, I should say. You're a young man into a big, big world of entertainment. And it's got to be a scary situation because if it wasn't for Mr. Cohen, Brent, and God bless him and all of his fight and the struggle through cancer, he's going to kick cancer in its fucking ass, man. He doesn't stand a chance.
He is.
In fact, he got his hair back, man. He's got the mohawk and he's looking good.
He's looking good, man. He's a stud. Dude,
yeah,
Brett,
man.
Brett is a motherfucker, man, in every sense of the word. He's a motherfucker of a player. He's a motherfucker of a guy. And he is just the strongest, most resilient fucking guy.
He's a great man.
Yeah, he really is. And I owe him a lot when it comes to my career and just as a friend, and it's just so funny, Anthony. I don't know if I can just kind of give you a little vibe here. I think you got out of town, quick enough because the way of babies has come heavily. Now you know that Lauren and Sal are going to be a mommy and daddy. Nick and Jessica are going to be a mommy and daddy. I heard that, and congratulations to all of that.
Yeah, and Paul and Melissa are also going to be, a mom and daddy. Yeah, man. So it's like, it's so nice. At least you know that you had nothing to do with any of those because you are just out of town now. So I want to throw big props up there. Okay, Anthony, so let's go back to Las Vegas, man. I mean, you have it, I was bragging upon you, man, because you were up to working 6 days a week, and I don't know how in the hell you were doing that, but there's a thing called bills and responsibilities. But everything's been moving. You've got a name. You've made a name for yourself out there, and a name that's synonymous with a great sideman. But let's talk about resilient in Las Vegas. Let's talk about October the 1st. And it's not as much as I want to, but when I woke up, I heard the TV in the other room on loud, and the only time Cappy puts the TV on loud if there's something going on. she walked in the bedroom and she was crying.
Yeah.
And so why don't you go ahead with that said, it's where were you on that fateful day? What were you doing, man? And how did you find out about it?
So I was at home. Luckily, I was at home. I was actually on the phone with Brother Garza.
Okay.
And we're on the phone and we're talking, and then my phone starts blowing up with people asking me if I'm okay. And I'm like, yeah, what are you talking about? And then, the preliminary reports were multiple shooters, bomb threats,
Right.
all this stuff. And then somebody said, like, multiple shooters, one of them's at Mandalay Bay. And my fucking heart stopped because my girlfriend she's a dancer. She was working at Mandalay Bay. She was at the foundation room that night. So I was like, holy shit, Mike, I gotta go. And I hung up with him, and I tried calling her, and she couldn't talk, but she texted me that she was okay. And, but she was like, the SWAT team busted into the foundation room, made everybody lay on the ground, Jesus. Like real scary shit. And then I turned the police scanner on my phone, and I didn't sleep that night, man. Like I was just,
how could you?
I was up until probably like 9:00 in the morning the next day. Just, on Twitter, trying to follow all the live updates, listening to the police scanner, trying to be in touch with all my friends who were on the strip. And, but I mean, luckily I was at home and I was safe, but I mean, I knew.
Yeah. How were you not working? How were you not working that night, out of curiosity?
I don't know. I didn't have anything booked that night. I was on the strip the night before. I was doing a corporate at Caesars the night before, but, Brother Jace was working on the strip that night.
Right.
All my friends who work on Blue Man Group, they were locked down at the Luxor. I had friends. One of my good buddies was working sound at Route 91, and he saw everything, and he helped carry people out until the police told him to leave. And it was scary, man. It was the scariest thing that's happened in my life.
Can I get your personal opinion, brother? Because I know how deep our conversations go, and trust me, if those who are in touch with Anthony, don't be confused with the long hair and the good looks, etc. The man is a fucking think tank. In fact, it actually makes me feel stupid at times. It's like walking around with a walking Jeopardy, and and so on. It's intense. And if he's drunk, it's even more intense. I actually give him, I said to Anthony, you've got 1 hour and that's it. I get the fuck out of my car. And the more times not, I don't like when my friends drive I don't let them drive drunk. But with that said, I mean, we all have our deep thoughts and so on. You'd have to be fucking Superman to do what this man is alleged doing by himself. There's too many things, the conspiracy theories and stuff going on. There's too many videos through the advent of having cell phones with cameras. I don't think we're ever going to know what really happened. I think here's my take. Here's my take on all that. I was listening to the police scanner all fucking night. Okay, I heard every single report of shots being fired at multiple locations, and I heard every single one of them subsequently be cleared. I know people who work in law enforcement. I know people who know other people who work for the local FBI office. I did a gig with a guy a couple weeks ago whose friend is a high stakes gambler and personally knew the guy, Steve Paddock. Right. And I don't believe any of the conspiracy theories. There was only one shooter. The guy was shooting out of two separate windows. So all the videos that you see where you hear one burst of gunfire that sounds like it's right on top of the car that it's being filmed from. Right. And then you hear another burst of gunfire that sounds like it's far away. It's because he's shooting out of a different window. Yeah. And the microphone on a cell phone is not omnidirectional. So it's going to sound like two different sets of gunfire. And the other thing is that you're hearing the supersonic blasts from the actual bullets themselves breaking the sound barrier. Right.
So that sounds like another round of gunfire itself as well. So there,
and then they want us to make us believe too that sound, that thumping sound, was that shots coming from a helicopter. Listen to it gets closer, and you sit there and you go, "Come on, people."
Well, I mean, come on! Like all these videos are being filmed from a cell phone. Like those aren't like super high quality microphones. They're made to pick up sound that's like within a couple inches away. So you can't get an accurate picture of what was going on from a fucking cell phone microphone. It's just not going to happen. So, I mean, I understand that it's extremely frustrating because of the lack of an explanation from this guy. Like this guy, doesn't appear to be radicalized politically or ideologically. He doesn't have a history of violence or mental illness or criminal activity. It's just like, so we have this huge void in terms of an explanation, and people are going to come from the fringes trying to fill that void with all this shit and all this speculation. But we just have to be patient and let the law enforcement do its job. And it's going to take time. It's going to take time. And they're not going to give you piece by piece information. They're going to wait until they have total confidence.
Yeah, man.
Before they give you something. So we kind of just have to sit and wait. But I mean, a little bit is coming out more and more all the time. Like Sheriff Joe Lombardo, who's awesome, just released a press statement the other day saying that Steve Paddock had recently lost a lot of money. Like he had lost a significant amount of his wealth. So that could be a possible explanation. And people snap, man. Yeah,
Anthony. We talked about this. You said it would be okay to talk about this, and absolutely, because it's all part about your community. You're living there, and I always want to just tell everybody else. As I said to many people on many different interviews since that time, we can't be. I don't want to use the term be aloof about it, but we can't be afraid when we go to festivals, go to outdoor situations. We're around like-minded people that are there for the vibe, there for the music, there for the live music. So don't let this quell our love of music, our love of festivals, our love of just being outdoors. The psychological, absolutely. The psychological warfare, that they're trying to place on who's trying to place it, who knows. That's another story on Oprah, but I want to get back into the situation. I want to say blessings to all those who lost loved ones, the ones who lost their lives. It's the world, unfortunately, that we live in currently, and it's fucked up. And hopefully, things will, we can wake up one morning and the birds will be chirping and black children and white children will be walking hand in hand. And, that's a good dream. But is it going to happen? I don't know. But I know what's going to happen right now, Anthony, is we're coming out of segment number 2, and we got to get back into the music side of it because there's so many questions I have to answer, so many questions I have to ask you that you have to answer. So with that said, this next segment is going to be all about Anthony, how to stalk you in a good way and to find out exactly where you're going to be playing and what's coming on, what's on the table, what's going on recording-wise. I want to know about that. So when we get back on segment number 3, the final segment of an hour interview on Emerging Mondays number 17 with my in-studio guest, my little brother, amazing drummer by the name of Anthony Raya. Guys, don't go anywhere. We'll be right back after the short version. Stay tuned.
Hi, this is Tim Dolbear, host of Sound Experience here on Intertalk Radio. And Source Connect by Source Element is the essential tool that we use to link between my studio in Austin, Texas, and the WS radio station in San Diego. Now, with Source Connect, not only can we communicate in real time and with HD audio, but it's synced up and is of a high enough quality that I can use it for real-time ADR work, remote recording, and overdubbing, and it even allows me to remotely control a DAW. Source Connect by Source Element. Affordable, high-quality audio and video connection over the internet for all of your production needs.
You know what's all around you every waking moment of your life? Marketing. You're choking on it. I'm Scott Robertson, and when it comes to strategic PR, branding, and marketing, I've seen it all. And actually, I'm still seeing it because bad marketing never sleeps. Join me each week on May the Best Brand Win, right here on Intertalk Radio, and learn how to make the marketing for your brand unforgettable.
Make this your vinyl night. I'm John J.R. Robinson, and every week, music creation comes alive through stories, experiences, and sounds when vinyl records filled our hearts and minds. My friends and I share our tips and techniques used in creation of iconic tracks for recording artists such as Michael Jackson, Eric Clapton, Quincy Jones, and Steve Winwood, to name a few. Vinyl has emerged hot, and the soul of vinyl defines art and passion which burns deepest at night. Tune in every Wednesday at 2 p.m. Pacific Standard Time on EnterTalkRadio.com.
Are you serious about your music? Are you ready to run with the big dogs? The experts at Pitbull Audio have the gear to get you into the game. From leading manufacturers like Mesa Boogie, Fender, Pioneer, and American Audio. To sound your best, you need the best. Pitbull Audio can deliver in rehearsal, on stage, and into the big time. Dropping beats, shredding guitar, or making the crowd roar. Whatever you dream, Pitbull Audio can help make it happen. We are Pitbull Audio. We want you to play it loud. PitbullAudio.com.
Hi, this is Michael McDonald, and you're listening to my good buddy Jackie Bertoni on Jackie's Groove.
Welcome to Jackie's Groove. Come journey with us through the rhythm of the music business with your host, Jackie Bertoni.
Hey guys, welcome back to segment number 3. This is Jackie Bertoni, Jackie's Groove, brought to you by Intertalk Radio, connect to all things music. Guys, when I listen to this man by the name of Anthony Raya, when he's on drums, I kind of do a cross-section. I have a picture of him on the left, then I have a picture of Animal from the Muppets on the right-hand side, because when this kid is playing, man, he is manic when he's playing, but he's playing in such a groove, such a pocket. And at a kid at that age, you know, I've played with the best. And I definitely put him in the category of the best. I know you're gonna shy away from that, Anthony, but you know, I falter this thing. Think what it's gonna be like, man, as you keep going on and on and on. So with that, guys, welcome back, Anthony. Anthony, you know what, man? This whole thing is when we talk about family, we talk about inspirations, who have inspired, who have we inspired, etc.
Yeah.
You know,
real quick,
I have
Jackie,
a great.
Sorry, I don't mean to interrupt.
No, go ahead.
I just want to take a step back and just say real quick about, we were talking about the whole shooting and everything that happened. The way that the music community really stepped up, and you talk about family, the way that family came together, I mean, not just the music community, but like the entire Vegas community itself really came together and rallied in support of all the victims. I mean, there were lines several blocks long lining up at blood banks. And all the benefit shows that happened afterwards to try and raise money. I mean, they're still happening.
Yeah, in fact, I'm doing something with a radio thing with Jimmy Hopper and Clint Holmes. I'll let you know more about that as that comes forward.
For sure, and, I mean, it really is a testimony to the sense of community that is out here in Vegas. And, you know, I came out to this city about 3.5 years ago, and I fell in love with it because of the sense of community. Mm-hmm. And after this tragedy happened, I mean, it was awful, terrible thing that happened, but I fell in love with it all over again. To know that I'm a part of that community and a part of that family, it's staggering, man. So I just kind of wanted to give props and recognition to that family and that community out here in Vegas, because I think it's important.
Yeah, man, and it's sad that it takes that much of an extreme so that we have to prove our love for one another. But you know, it's again, it proves evident that when we bond together, there's strength in numbers. So, and we're talking about family and so on, Anthony, and I appreciate you popping in here. But you know, what keeps us going strong here at the network is a team. You know, with as crazy as I make everybody itself, I mean, most all the hosts have a 1-hour show 1 day a week. Where Brother Jackie's now up to 3 hours and usually a 2-hour interview and a lot of pre-taping and so on, because it's a passion that I love to do. And I know I torment the crew, but it's all going to come through the end. We're all going to be doing much better than we ever dreamed about. And, and I thank my team, Cedric and Candy and Megan, for putting it all together. I thank Mr. Paul Brzezinski. He is the COO and also I love saying that. And he's also the man at the man on the board today. And he's also the guitar player on my bumper music, along with Florentino Buenaventura on bass and drum programming, and myself on percussion. So with that said, I thank my crew. Every day I thank my crew for what they do. And with that said, Anthony, my dear friend, the CEO of the network, Florentino Buenaventura, is a fan of yours also through all the music I've sent him about you. He wanted to say hi personally. And Anthony, say hi to Florentino. Florentino, say hi to Anthony, please.
Hey, Anthony, what's going on, brother?
How are you, Florentino?
I'm doing good. I guess I got to give Jackie a little bit more money now that he said I'm a friend again. No, that's my brother. We're all brothers, man, in the spirit of music, as my brother says, peace through music. But in more ways than one, brothers on a mission. And so Jackie's definitely my brother. And you are now in on the Inner Talk family, man. Once you've been on the radio with us.
Jumped in, baby.
Yeah, you've been jumped in. You got to be jumped out. You got to get out.
I'm honored. Thank you. Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
You're welcome, man. As I've heard, and as Jackie will attest, you are exceptionally talented, and we definitely appreciate that because this world needs
thank you, man.
More art. So very cool, man.
Thank you. I appreciate that. And I have to say, I do not believe in the self-made person. I don't believe that anybody does anything solely on their own. I think that anybody who's ever had any kind of success with anything has it with a lot of help. And Jackie has been a crucial person for me, just personally and professionally. And he's one voice in a thunderous fugue of people who have who've given me their vote of confidence or vouched for me or given me a referral or whatever. And I cannot be more appreciative, man. I really can't.
Awesome. Awesome.
And in the immortal words of Mr. Gene Simmons, don't thank us, pay us.
Well, actually, I think you got to pay him now again, Jackie. You got to owe a lot of people money today.
Seriously, man.
No, we was all kidding aside, man. Thank you very much for joining us today. And the reason why we started this network is we wanted to share the stories, the background. We wanted to pay it forward, pay it backwards, pay it to the side, left and right, to all the people that are in this music business that don't always get the Katy Perry / Rihanna / Bruno Mars fame. Although nothing against taking anything away from those artists,
right?
It just seems that more and more nowadays the spotlight's being spread out, and we wanted to do that with a lot of the either emerging artists like yourself, players, and the like. And so with that said, this segment really is all about your URLs, your Facebook pages, your social media, anything that you do. If you send messages back and forth between paper planes, we don't care, man. Just let us know how to do it, brother.
For sure, yeah. So my website, anthonyryamusic.com, is under construction right now. It should be live within, hopefully before the end of the year. But I mean, I'm all over social media. I'm on Instagram. My handle is ant_Raya, Raya. Facebook, you can find me on Facebook. Just search my name, Anthony Raya. And I'm also on Twitter, ant_Raya. And other than that, you can just come to one of my gigs and see me play and come up and chat me up.
That's the best way, man. Support local music, support national music, support international music. It doesn't matter. Just a life without music is no life at all,
I agree.
So with that said, I'm going to pass you back to Jackie, man. I really appreciate you being here. Jackie, continue on with this great interview you're doing, brother.
Thanks, brother. But I'll talk to you later offline.
Sounds good.
All right, so Anthony, let's go back here. Yeah. We got some time. I want to talk about things. Something like you have done enough stuff live and recording. If you had to choose one or the other, where are you most comfortable, live on stage or in the studio?
Absolutely live on stage.
For the immediate recognition itself?
No, it's I just love performing, man. I love being on stage. I love that in the moment experience of, it's like it's happening right now, exactly. And this moment exists for this short period of time, and then it's gone forever, and it's like I thrive in that environment. And one of my favorite things to do is to improvise. And I mean, that's some of the funnest times that you and I have had together is just trading eights back and forth, and
absolutely,
jamming on the Alphonse Mouzon or jamming on the Billy Cobham tunes like we used to do. Yeah. And, but I play with a couple of groups that are all improv groups. So just a quick plug here. Every Tuesday night at the Double Down Saloon, I play with a band called Unique Massive. And it was started by a guy named Elvis Lederer, who is a phenomenal musician, phenomenal guy. He was MD for Blue Man Group for like a long time. I don't know how long, but he was also Chris Angel's musical director for a while. But he started this. He has provided this forum for like completely improvisational music. And we do it every Tuesday at the Double Down. It's a jam. So if you're in Vegas, if you're in town, if you're a player, you can come by, bring your axe, bring your sticks, bring your horn, bring whatever. And you can sit in with us and jam with us, but it's all improv is the point. And we don't play songs. You're not allowed to call out tunes. It all has to happen in the moment, and
how sweet is that, man?
It's amazing. It's my favorite thing. It is my favorite thing to do. We do it every Tuesday night. We start just after midnight. We'll go till 3-4 in the morning if we're feeling it, and we do it late enough so that all the players who have gigs on the Strip can come after their gigs and jam with us.
See, that's so cool, man. And speaking of friends, speaking of mutual friends, guess who's back in the saddle again, starting in December? And it's a group called Santa Fe and the Fat City Horns.
No way.
Yeah, they start at on every Monday, early shows at 7:30. Doors open at I think 6:30. They're going to be playing, Anthony, and I'm sure you know the place called Bootleggers and a thing called the Copa Room.
Cool. I know where that's at.
Man.
Awesome.
And so they'll be playing every Monday through December and also January the 1st. So you guys want to check it out. A lot of people are hitting me up, and Jerry Lopez and Gabriel and everybody wanted to find out where these boys are. Well, they're coming back, man. So it's time to get the healing going again. I'll say now, so with that little plug out of the way, Anthony, if growing up, if I was right now, let's just say this, if I was jumping in your car right now, if I was going to take your phone away from you and I'm going to put on your playlist, what are you listening to right now?
Geez, I listen to so much stuff. Honestly, man, most of the stuff that I listen to lately is stuff that I have to learn.
Yeah.
Sorry to give you a very unexciting answer.
No. And also, Anthony, I want to tell everybody out there, too, you guys, for Anthony Raya, if you guys can't get a hold of him here, get a hold of me personally, because he's like my little brother. But also, this guy charts. He's one of the most amazing charting drummers that I've worked with. And so you can throw anything at him. Throw polka at him, man. This man is able to play it. And again, Anthony, I'm going to throw this in there, man, because now, as Florentino said, you've been jumped in. But you've been jumped in the right area, because now you're going to be sharing the roster, the on-demand, with Garibaldi and with the Virgil Donati, all the who's who of drummers. So now you are there. So when everybody searches Anthony's name, probably in the next week, it's going to be all intertwined with that. And I want to ask this question also because it's important to me. It's actually a question Cappy came up with, and it's a question that people love. And the question I'm going to throw to you: if the word music, or any of the other words of music, the word business, music in general, if that was never in your vocabulary, what would Anthony be doing today?
I really don't know, man.
It's a fair question.
Yeah, it is a fair question. Probably, I don't know. I'm a very science-minded person. The way my brain works is very analytical.
Right.
So maybe something sciencey, or maybe like study law or something like that, because I'm a really good arguer and I'm very stubborn.
And I love that question, Anthony, because the answer, that question I posed to the who's who of the industry, it's that same situation. It's always that 2 or 3 beat. And and it's usually followed by, wow, great question, or wow. A lot of people even said this, man. I interviewed Ray Parker Jr. A week and a half ago. And Ray said he would either be working the line at Ford Motor Company in Detroit, which he's done for most of his life, or he'd probably be in jail or commit suicide.
Oh, wow.
And it's amazing how most people said, I don't know, I would probably be dead. You know?
Yeah,
and
I don't know if I take it that far. I definitely be way less happy of a person. But I mean, I need to be stimulated, man. I need to be challenged.
Of course.
I get off on challenge, you know, doing things that are difficult. And that's one of the reasons why, you know, when I first moved to Vegas, I started playing with a band called the JV All-Stars. And they're a great band. They're a variety band. They were gigging like 5-6 nights a week. And it was great. It was great because I was able to hit the ground running when I moved here. But it was just, I was playing the same shit every night, you know, over and over and over again. And it's like, that's kind of that's like the duality as a Vegas player, is like you either have a home gig that you're comfortable and you're stable and the money is regular and it's great, and then you get bored, you know, and you kind of go crazy, or you freelance and you play with a million different bands and a million different people, and you're on call for a million different people, and you're constantly challenged, you know, and it's less stable, it's less secure, it's more of a struggle. You have to network and you have to hustle. But, you know, I feel much more comfortable in that situation. Like, I mean, this month I'm playing with my band, the Jupiter Year. I play with Massive. We're all over the place, man. We play at Hennessy's on Fremont Street every Wednesday. We're going to be playing at Container Park downtown. We're going to be playing at Gold Spike downtown. And then I'm playing with a country band called the Jim Presley Band. We're doing some stuff in Parker, Arizona. We're doing some stuff for NFR, for the National Finals Rodeo. I'm going to be playing. I'm going to start playing on it's a new gig for me. It's called the World's Greatest Rock Show at the Stratosphere. So I'm going to start playing on that. I'm playing with my improv bands, Unique Massive and Überschall. Who else am I playing with? I'm doing some gigs with a band called the Easy Eights. They're a classic rock and country band. We're doing the Rock and Roll Marathon on November 12th, this Sunday.
That's our anniversary, by the way. And also too, that's called, for the listeners out there, this is called what is called being blessed and gainfully employed. And Anthony, you and I could go on for hours as we usually do, but unfortunately, we don't have the time. We've got 30 seconds left. So I want to say, Anthony, from the bottom of my heart, you will always be my little brother, or my son, as some girls think, you know, the father and son situation. I'm proud of you, man. I'm proud of you like you have no idea. Keep playing. I can't wait to get on stage with you again to fuck you up, and that's a good situation. And I thank you for, you know, all the stuff that you've taught me, and because you're never too old to learn. So with that said, everybody, I want everybody to say thank you to Anthony Raya, number 17 on Emerging Mondays. Anthony, I'm going to cut you off by saying peace through music, brother. We will see you very, very soon. Keep your arms open and get ready for a big hug. Everybody, say goodbye to Mr. Anthony Raya, Jackie Bertoni, Jackie's Groove, and her talk radio, your connection to all things music. Peace through music. Anthony, I love you, brother. This is Jackie Bertoni from Jackie's Groove. Come join me weekly on my journey through the music business as I take you behind the velvet rope, interviewing industry notables such as Al Di Meola, Michael McDonald, and Al Jarreau, to name but a few. Listen to their stories on being in the studios recording #1 hits and onto the stages throughout the globe. Allow me to be your music historian. You can hear me live every Monday at 2 p.m. and every Wednesday at 12 noon Pacific Standard Time or 24/7 on jackiesgroove.com.
Ready to get your groove on?
Hi, this is Tim Dolbear from Eclectica Studios. I'm a full-time mixing and recording engineer. I work with Grammy winners, labels, and indie artists, using state-of-the-art digital mixing and restoration tools and the very best in analog gear. Really, though, it's my ability to bring tracks to life and fulfill your vision for your music. This has made me sought after by producers and artists worldwide. So spend your time working on music and not chasing a mix down a rabbit hole. Go to timdolbear.com and check out our free one-song mix offer.
You know what's all around you every waking moment of your life? Marketing. You're choking on it. I'm Scott Robertson, and when it comes to strategic PR, branding, and marketing, I've seen it all. And actually, I'm still seeing it because bad marketing never sleeps. Join me each week on May the Best Brand Win, right here on Intertalk Radio, and learn how to make the marketing for your brand unforgettable.
Are you serious about your music? Are you ready to run with the big dogs? The experts at Pitbull Audio have the gear to get you into the game. From leading manufacturers like Mesa Boogie, Fender, Pioneer, and American Audio. To sound your best, you need the best. Pitbull Audio can deliver in rehearsal, on stage, and into the big time. Dropping beats, shredding guitar, or making the crowd roar. Whatever you dream, Pitbull Audio can help make it happen. We are Pitbull Audio. We want you to play it loud. PitbullAudio.com.